development in women's baseball. This session is offered to you in English on YouTube and Facebook, as well as in both English and Spanish on Zoom. Simply click the interpretation button on Zoom if you wish to join the Spanish broadcast. I'm Shari Reinige, and I'm excited to lead this session today. I work as a WBSC International Baseball Technical Commissioner and Technical Director. I've been fortunate to run baseball fields and stadiums around the world at women's and men's international baseball events since 2004, and I'm hoping to still work the upcoming America's Olympic Baseball Qualifier, as well as the Olympic Games in Tokyo this summer. I'm especially honored to introduce you to a panel of incredible women today who have blazed trails in their home countries and around the world as international baseball officials and leaders. Thank you for taking time out of your day and to join us and to explore career development opportunities for women in the game of baseball. We hope to meet you on a baseball field somewhere around the globe in the future. Now, hopefully you had the chance to catch the first two sessions of the Women's Baseball webinar series, focused on starting a women's baseball program and coaching female athletes. Earlier this week, the WBSC gave you a glimpse into each of our journeys to international baseball through our individual videos. And today we'll give you the chance to ask questions about opportunities for women in baseball. The final three sessions will give you a chance to chat live with some of the most successful female baseball players in the world, and to take a closer look at how the Japanese women's baseball program has become the top program in the world. And finally, to see how Major League Baseball is stepping up to help develop the women's game. So before I introduce today's panel for this session, let's send out a huge thank you to the WBSC and the WBSC Integrity Unit, who chose to celebrate International Women's Day on March 8th by announcing courses devoted to women's baseball and to gender equality. And thanks to the WBSC Women's Baseball Commission for creating this great lineup of webinars and the great content coming your way over these 6 weeks. And all great programs take phenomenal organization and coordination behind the scenes. So a huge virtual high five goes out to WBSC staff member, Amy Park, who I first met at a Women's Baseball World Cup in Korea in 2016. Amy made it easy to follow her lead as she guided us through filming our videos and presenting today's Q&A session. So let's quickly review just a few simple steps to ensure we can get to as many of your questions as possible. For those of you joining us through Zoom, please just submit your questions for our panelists through the Q&A button. And if you're on Facebook or YouTube, simply ask the question in the comment section. We also have a few questions that were previously submitted. So we're going to start there today and then take as many questions as possible in our time together. So today's session is being recorded and will be available next week through the WBSC Academy. Now let's get started. So it is my pleasure to introduce you to the panelists for this career development for women's baseball session. Going around the world from my home in Edmonton to the east. So first, let's welcome Lisa Turbitt from Canada. Lisa is a member of our WBSC Umpire Commission, a WBSC Umpire Director and Instructor. Lisa and I first worked together at the inaugural Women's Baseball World Cup in Edmonton in 2004, where she earned the home plate umpire assignment for the gold medal game. And she was the first woman selected to umpire at last year's World Baseball Classic qualifier in Arizona, which was unfortunately postponed due to the pandemic. Thanks for joining us, Lisa. Say hi to everyone.
Thanks, Shari, for that great introduction. Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to be here, not only with my fellow panelists, but with everyone watching around the world.
Awesome. Thanks, Lisa. Okay, now let's head across the Atlantic Ocean to Italia and welcome our WBSC Scoring Commission Chair and Statistics Director for the Olympic Games, Annamaria Paini. Annamaria and I finally had the chance to work together for the first time at the Premier 12 opening round in Guadalajara in 2019. She's the veteran of our panel and has been involved in international baseball since 1990. Welcome, Annamaria.
Thank you very much, Shari, and hi to everyone here. I hope this meeting will enjoy a lot of people and a lot of women will just start doing what we do.
That's phenomenal. That's exactly why we are here today. Thanks, Annamaria. And also in Italia is WBSC umpire Alessia Cicconi. And what a privilege it's been to watch Alessia work at multiple Women's Baseball World Cups. And she has a PhD. Wow, that's something new that I learned from her video this week. Thanks for bringing your talents to the field, Alessia, and also to your students. It's an honor to have you here today.
Thank you very much, Shari, for your presentation. And I'm honored to be here with the other panelists. And I say hi to all the people who follow us.
Excellent. We can't wait to hear how to become an umpire in Italy. Yeah, and finally, we had nearly all the way around the world to late in the evening and to WBSC umpire Chun, who hopefully I said that right, who has also worked multiple Women's Baseball World Cups with us. She was tough as nails for us in 2018 and umpired with a broken arm. And she was also the first female umpire representing Chinese Taipei. And did you know that she received the World Trophy at the International Olympic Committee Women and Sports Awards in 2019 for her staunch advocacy of female empowerment in sport? Well, we know her as Sophia, and so that's how we're going to talk to her today. And Sophia continues to inspire girls to follow their baseball dreams. So welcome, Sophia.
Hi, Shari. Hi, everyone. This is Hello from Asia, and it's my great honor to be here. And WBSC, especially thanks to WBSC, provide me a chance have such wonderful baseball trip. It's my baseball experience in my life, and so happy to see my old friends. And I cannot wait to meet more new friends in our baseball family. Thank you.
Thanks, Sophia. Okay, so before we jump into the questions, let's now see where you are joining us from today. So where are you connecting from today? Use the chat button on Zoom or the comment section on YouTube or Facebook, and make sure that you let us know where you're joining us. Let's see if we can get some responses here. We're going to wait a second. I want to see where we have some people from. Oh, Taipei, Taiwan, New York City, Chris Hadfield in Milton, Ontario, Canada. Thanks for joining us, Chris. Hong Kong. Yes. Okay. Oh, nice to see you, Eva. We have some of our international umpires I see on here. Oh, Tokyo, Japan, Hiroko, the chair of our Women's Commission. Alberta, Canada, one of our scores, Canadian scores, Eileen Hartman. Egypt, wow, like this is incredible. Another Taiwan. We are here to support Lisa, the students at Chris Hadfield Public School. Her students are on today. Wow, that is awesome. Keep them coming. To Alessia, Sophia, and Lisa, call strikes. So, there, yes, for sure. Thanks to everyone for giving us a little bit of background of where you're coming in from and joining us from today. Let's jump right in with the first questions, ladies. So we're going to ask, a couple of the panelists to join us in answering a few of these questions. And if you have a question specifically for one panelist, then make sure when you put that in that you just who you want it to be towards. Or if it's just a general question to everybody, then we'll just pick a couple of people to share. So we're going to start with career development and whether there is a program. So Lisa, let's start from an umpiring perspective. Is there a program for career development for female umpires?
Well, I don't think, Shari, that we have a specific one right yet internationally or globally just for female umpires, but maybe that's something in the future. Many countries and certainly WBSC offer training. So if you wanted to be an umpire, you could attend. Most countries offer some sort of training. In Canada specifically, we do have regular umpire training attended by men or women, but we also have training depending on the province, specifically for girls or women who are joining to be an umpire. I know at WBSC, we've held international camps and they are attended both by men and women. So there's lots of different opportunities if you want to be an umpire. I know, for example, some of the different professional leagues, Major League Baseball has an umpire camp, and I know Sophia attended that. And we have a number of international umpires who have had an opportunity to attend a professional camp. Some of our umpires from around the world have a different professional league. I know Mexico, Italy, so Chinese Professional Baseball League, the Japanese Professional Baseball League. So there's lots of different opportunities to access training if you would like to enter a career being a baseball umpire.
Awesome. Thanks, Lisa. And I think one of the things that we're starting to see in national federations, because we're seeing this with Baseball Canada, is right now across Canada, Lisa is also involved with providing female-only clinics for umpires across Canada. So you might check with your national federation to see what they are offering, and they may offer some that are just for women, and they may just offer some that are for men and women for any umpire, right? That anybody that wants to be an umpire. So that's great. Okay.
The part, Shari, is that you have 3 international umpires representing 3 different countries on the call right now. So if the girls or women are from those areas, certainly contacting us or WBSC, and we can help connect them with who they need in their area. And certainly women from other places around the world, if they needed help connecting that, that's something that we could maybe do if they reached out.
Okay, great. So there's a follow-up question here, Lisa. Is there a specific application process or a specific evaluation event that umpires can attend to become an international umpire?
So usually there's a procedure. So you follow the procedure for WBSC guidelines for having an umpire be nominated for an international opportunity. In addition to that procedure, so your home federation or your home country may nominate you. I'm sure that happened with Alessia and Chun when they were nominated to umpire, but WBSC does have different camps around the world. Sophia, I think you attended a camp in Hong Kong. I know that our WBSC umpire Commission Director, Gus Rodriguez, has gone around the world and done camps. We did one in San Jose. So there was an opportunity for umpires, both men and women, to work at that camp and have myself and other instructors, as well as Gus, supervise them, evaluate them, and see, hey, are they on the pathway to becoming an international umpire? And if they're not quite ready yet, what can we do to give them a plan or some strategies so they can get themselves ready so that they could be an international umpire in the future?
Perfect. Great. That's amazing. So just so you know, we're trying to stay cognizant of our translation. So we'll try and give a little bit of time in between maybe some of the answers so our translator can catch up. We know that there's always a few more words in Spanish. So those of you that are joining us in Spanish, we are really thankful to have you on and to have our translator with us today. So that's great, Lisa. So we're gonna kind of move from umpiring to scoring. And so we're gonna move over to Annamaria, and maybe you can give us a little bit of information, Annamaria, about development for scores.
Okay, also for scorer, we don't have a specific training for women, but usually all over the world, the scorer, most of the scorer are women. And maybe they are thinking that it is easier for women to be a scorer, not in the middle of the field. So we are in the office working, or we're at the border of a field. So maybe a lot of people was thinking that is better to be a scorer than an umpire that is in the middle of the field. We are not so, we are not in, let's see, not a lot of people saw us in our work. So it is easier for a lot of women to do this work, but we have both. And in this moment in the WBSC, we start the academy, and I think that in June we will start with the full program in the academy. We will have some lesson, and they are for a basic level, so people can solve the lesson and can start learning something about scoring by themselves. So after that, we have a second level where we have a teacher explaining all the things about scoring. And then we have a third level to see if someone is very good to become international. So we start with this program, and I think I spoke with Victor, and I think that in June we will start with the first level, the basic level. So everyone can learn how to become a scorer.
Yay, that's great news, Annamaria. That's, you know, I know scoring was something that I did even growing up. You know, I played college softball through college, so I always knew the game. And then when my son played, you know, I took a lot of duties, and scoring was one of them, and all the statistics. So that's great. And I know one of our other women was initially assigned from Australia, right, to be the scoring director in Tokyo as well. So we have a great group of women who are international scorers for us, and part of that. And again, you know, so that's great. WBSC is starting to create more inclusive and open registration programs to develop our officials in international baseball. And so from a technical commission side, which is where I come from, the technical officials, where we run the field and the stadium and make sure the games go, we can hand it off to Lisa and her umpiring crew to run the game. We are also in the process of creating a technical official certification program and online training that will most likely go through each national federation. So, you know, right now for women on the technical side of the game, really how you get involved is by being part of your national federation. Many of our women have experience playing women's baseball. Some of them were, played for their national team. A couple of our technical commissioners, Narelle Gostre from Australia and Robin Wallace from Boston, as well as a former commissioner that we worked with, Megumi Kita from Japan, all played at the very first Women's Baseball World Cup that I got to work at. And then I got to work with them some years later when they were put forward by their federation. So it's about, in the technical world, it's about knowing the game and running events, running championships in your home country, learning how to run a game, be a director, a tournament director. Those are all very good skills. And usually then you would attend as a local technical commissioner if it's you are being actually, if your host country, if your country is hosting a championship, you might be asked to come and to work with our international technical commission team. And for those who do come and like the work and do a good job, then sometimes that's how we get involved. So my first event was really, I was the local technical commissioner for Canada, at the Women's World Cup in Edmonton, the very first one. And then I was assigned the next to the 2008 Women's Baseball World Cup in Japan, in Matsuyama, Japan, as the first time we had an international team. So I started as being the first woman on the field in 2004, to then we had 4 women from around the world in Japan, and now we have many more. And now we have women that are also working the bigger events as well. So we are working on that process, maybe a little less distinct than the scoring and the umpires, the umpires have always been very well organized on how to develop and teach and instruct and evaluate and mentor. So hopefully we can take their lead and continue to develop. So that is great start. I know we have so many questions coming in, but I want to get to a couple of questions. A question for Sophia and Alessia. So Sophia, maybe you can share from in Taiwan and Chinese Taipei and the Asian BFA, how can you help people in Asia develop their skills and women develop their skills as an umpire?
Okay, thank you for the question. In Taiwan, we are very lucky because baseball is the most popular sports in Taiwan, and we got a lot of resource. And compared to European, we have a lot of chance to umpire baseball games. For example, I can umpire more than 200 games 1 year because we have a lot of games. So in the other side, you have a lot of chance to develop your skill and also have the chance to umpire men's game, higher level, even the college, and even pre-professional. So it's very lucky that in Taiwan we have a lot of opportunities. And at the beginning, it's a little bit difficult is because since the baseball is the most popular sport in Taiwan, so there are so many players and tournaments, but that's for men. So compared to, so people will regard that baseball is for men and seldom the girls to play baseball. But now things change, especially from 2006, the WBSC hosted a Women's World Cup in Taiwan. So people see, wow, the girls can play as well. So Chinese Taipei Baseball Association, we also host some national tournaments and twice a year. So there are more and more girls play baseball now and got a chance to play. So in Taiwan, I think, and also in Hong Kong, Japan, I think the opportunity for girls to play baseball is much more friendly these decades. Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, that is great to see that development happening. And I think we can all, I know in the chat, there was a question, do we think that the game is becoming more inviting for women? And absolutely. You know, a lot of us started as the first woman on a field, you know, either in our country or around the world. And we are definitely seeing that. And I have to say, after working the Premier 12 Olympic qualifier opening round in Guadalajara and working with Major League Baseball level coaches and managers, their level of respect for the game is first class. And they respect anyone who loves the game and can do the work that is required. And so I always felt welcome on that field with the highest level of people who I watch on TV even. So it is definitely becoming more accessible and more programs are starting to become available. So thanks, Sophia. Alessia, let's move to Italia and talk about how, what can you do to develop as an umpire in Italy?
Okay, thank you, Shari. So the situation in Italy is very different from the situation Sophia described, because in Italy, baseball and also softball are not major sports. So there are not so many teams and not so many players. So the opportunities to umpire are not so so high. But if you want to become an umpire, there are no specific courses for women. Of course, you have to follow a course to become an umpire. And every year, the Italian Committee of Umpire organize courses for new umpires. You can participate. If you are women or men, no problem at all. But what happens then is that it's true that women are addressed by the instructor to softball. And maybe someone can say, this is not true. But if you see the number of women in baseball now, the umpire women in baseball, maybe you can have the finger of one hand. So this means that we can do more. So it's also something that have to be a motivation to do more for involving women in baseball. And for what regard me, I love baseball. And the only way to be part of baseball was to umpire, because in Italy, women don't play baseball. They play softball. And I think that in many countries in Europe, you have to decide if you want to be a baseball umpire or a softball umpire. And also in Italy, the career of umpire, you have to decide almost immediately if you want to be softball umpire, a baseball umpire. And many times, the more talented women are addressed to softball, because in Italy it's played by women and so on. But never give up. If a woman wants to become a baseball umpire, it's possible. and you have to be very, very focused on this aim, but you can reach this aim. So don't give up.
Yeah, and I would say, Alessia, having, you know, people, umpires like you or people like you who have stuck with it, and like Lisa and Sophia, to see, you know, to see it, people need to see it to believe that they can be it. And, you know, so having role models that have really blazed these trails and continue to stay in the game and show that it can, you know, women can be in the game and do a good job, just maybe gives somebody else the inspiration, that next generation, to try as well. And I do know from our umpiring, I remember one of our umpires in Venezuela in 2010 actually, you know, umpires baseball and softball. So, you know, we do have some that cross over, and some people think, oh, it's, you know, similar. I played softball, but I never played baseball. So they are different sports, have some different rules and different mechanics, but, you know, some people do go back and forth, but it is very difficult to do both sports. So you really do need to have that focus. So thanks, Alessia. You know, I want to go into, we have some questions coming in from chat, as well as our question and answer. So remember, please, to, I just don't want to lose any questions that might come up in the chat, because it just keeps flowing. So if you do have a question, please continue to put it into the question and answer on Zoom or into the comment section, and Amy will make sure that we get that if you're on Facebook Live or on YouTube. So here is something for the panel, and let's go back to Lisa. And actually, I'm going to put kind of two questions into one. How long have you been involved in baseball, Lisa? And just really quickly, what got you into baseball instead of a different sport?
Thanks, Shari. Actually, I've been involved as a baseball umpire, and I started as a player over 40 years. So that's a long time to see a shift and see more inclusion of women involved in the sport. As Sophia said, there's lots of opportunity, but not a lot of women. I did umpire in Taiwan in 2006 in that Women's World Cup. I didn't get a chance to meet Sophia at that time because she wasn't yet umpiring. But when we see other women and see other people doing something, we think, hey, that's a path for us. So in addition to being a player, I loved baseball, Shari. I played as a kid. I had posters of baseball players on my wall growing up, which was not typical for teenage girls. But I was hanging out at the ballpark when my brother was playing, and there was no umpire. And that's how I got started over 40 years ago, never thinking this journey would take me where we are now. So I'm sure there's lots of people watching who are umpires, but maybe there's some who are not sure. And I really encourage them to try it and realize what an amazing experience it is. And as the people on this call have shared, it's an awesome experience, awesome opportunity to meet people from around the world and grow your baseball family. And one of the shifts in WBSC, as you mentioned, Shari, is more and more women being involved, not only as scorers or technical commissioners, but as umpires on the field. At every level of WBSC play, there's been female umpires on the field. And I know I've been the umpire director for at least 3 of them. So now when we are having these events in different places around the world, girls and women might be watching and saying, hey, I see a woman on the field. Hey, there's a female umpire director, or even yourself or Anna, and say, hey, I want to get involved. How do I do that?
That's awesome. Thanks, Lisa. So Sophia, why don't you tell us a little bit about how long you've been involved in the game and why you chose baseball?
Okay. Yeah, just Lisa says so truthfully that's because we see Lisa being a good umpire in the WBSC tournament. So other girls like me believe that, hey, maybe one day I can do it as well. Because in Taiwan, although baseball is the most popular sports, but when I was young, I have no chance to play baseball. And when I applied to join the baseball team, my coach told me that you can play softball. But I have no choice because people just think about that girls should play softball. Nobody asks if there's any other opportunity. So, but still, I love baseball so much. So I become the volunteer for Little League as maybe sometimes I interpreter and the team mom. And I love baseball so much. So I was wondering that what else I can do. So I choose to be an umpire because sometimes I can help to umpire some kids game. So that's how I start. So I go to the Taipei Baseball Clinic in 2006. And that's the first beginning to become an umpire. But I have to say at the beginning it's very, very tough because I cannot see other female partners on the field. And the first beginning, I umpire some games, usually in the ballpark, very far away, like a riverside. So it's very difficult for girls, for me to change my clothes. Even my parents suggest me I can wear a diaper if I want to umpire. Yeah.
Wow, that's a real challenge.
Yeah. But some people question that if girls can do the job. But I got some support as well. So, for example, these recent years, our government and the Baseball Association try to improve the facility in ballpark. For example, in 2006, Lisa, when you come to umpire in Taiwan, there's no females umpire dressing room, right? But now, last year, our Chinese Taipei Baseball Association, they provide a female umpire room, dressing room, just for female umpires. Yeah, and this year, the Taipei Arena, that's the first arena in Taiwan. They also will design for women's umpire room as well. So things got changed. More girls like you officials, you step up and people see and people will know that, hey, women can do it and they do the job well as well. So more and more people willing to help and to improve our environment. And so now in Taiwan, there are more and more girls not only play baseball, but also become the officials. Yeah.
Okay, that's incredible, right? You've seen such a change. And it's so incredible to see Sophia, who wasn't even umpiring in 2006, and now she's on our WBSC umpire team and has been able to, travel around the world doing what she loves. And you can always tell the love and the passion in her game. And I'll go to Annamaria next, but maybe I'll share a little bit about how I got involved. And really, I would say my love for the game started as a young girl going to baseball games, local baseball games with my dad and watching Major League Baseball on TV. I grew up in Northern California, and we would literally go out onto the driveway of my friend's house. If it was on a clear night in Northern California, we could catch Vin Scully calling Dodgers games on the radio. And I just always had a love for baseball, but never really even knew that baseball was available for girls at that time. So after playing when I was in college, I actually met a Canadian baseball player and ended up moving to Canada and getting married on the field that his father built. And then I just got involved because my husband's team needed a fundraising coordinator. So I started with that. And then because I knew how to take care of fields from playing high school and college softball, I actually was a head groundskeeper at that same baseball facility where we hosted provincial and national championships and elite tournaments. So I learned how to run an event on the field for events. And then I started coaching. My husband and I was coaching elite softball. But then my husband said, hey, why don't we coach a community baseball team together? So my first time coaching was with my husband with U13 boys, just community house league team. And that then turned into coaching the provincial girls baseball team at the time when Baseball Canada was just starting their women's national team program. So I got involved with that, and I stuck with baseball, I think, because I saw the passion. I had the passion for the game, and I saw the technical experience and expertise that I could learn with, and I had great support. So joined boards, ran committees, sat on the provincial baseball Alberta board, and then I got to sit as you know, with Andre Lachance and Jim Baba, current president Jason Dixon, who's an ex-major leaguer, on the long-term athlete development committee at Baseball Canada. So, and at that time, I got to, I guess I had to make a choice whether to stay in coaching. And my son was so busy, was playing growing up, very elite levels. And I just made the choice that if I was going to coach more the girls, the women's program, I wasn't going to get to see my own son play. And I ended up saying no to an opportunity to go with Team Canada to Australia as a guest coach with the women's national team. But then when that door closed, another one opened, and Edmonton hosted the very first Women's Baseball World Cup. And they decided that Baseball Canada and International Baseball decided there should be a female technical commissioner for that first event. So the rest is history, as they say, but that's my, you know, a little bit about, I think those of us that have chosen baseball and stayed involved in baseball, it's because we love the game, but even more, we love the people that we get to work with around the world. That's always my best part. So Annamaria, I think you also have a good story of how you got involved in baseball, how many years ago. So maybe you can give us a little bit of that story as well.
And as I explained in the video, my history is a very strange history. I started with baseball in 1983 because a friend of mine asked me to go to a baseball field to see a game. But well, I never saw a baseball game till that moment. And I say, no, really, I don't understand the game, so I can't come. And then my friend say, hey, but there was a lot of nice people playing. And so I say, okay, so we can go. So I went for the first time, and the cousin of this friend started explaining me the game and everything. And then every time I went to the stadium, I have to pay the ticket to go into the stadium. And in that moment, I was studying at university. So like every student, I have no money because I have to ask my money to my parents. So we heard the announcer saying, okay, in the winter, there will be a score course for new people. And so with this friend, we say, okay, this is a way to go into the stadium for free, because if we are scorer, we can go and we don't have to pay the ticket. And so I start in this way, you know, very strange way. And then as at university, I was studying economics. And so there will be also the course of statistics. And so I went more involved in statistics in baseball. And so, as you know, in baseball, stats are the most important things. And from there, I start one time and two times, and then I start to work not as international scorer, but helping the international scorer in some international competition here in Italy. And then my first time abroad as International was in 1990 in Slovenia, and I was there for my first time. And well, from there I started, and I became scoring director for the Italian Federation, then a scoring director for European Federation, and then, as you know, for the WBSC. So it was starting from there, just because I went to see a game because of nice boys playing.
Nice people. They're nice people. Yeah. And then it was free. And then if you could get in for free, that was even better. But,
yes.
So I think what we see from women all around the world is there are many different ways to get involved. And one of the things I love about stories such as yours, Annamaria, is because some women think, well, I don't come from sport, playing a sport, or from baseball, so I obviously can't get involved. Well, that's not true. There are many positions available for women in the game. So Alessia, let's look at that from your perspective. What do you see as other things that women can do in the game of baseball, besides just umpiring or scoring or coaching or those specific roles? What do you see in Italy? Like what other ways do women get involved?
Oh, wow. It's a difficult question because, as I said, in Italy, it's not a major sport. And when we speak about baseball in Italy, you have to speak also about softball. It means that it's a big family, baseball and softball in Italy. In Italy, if you are a woman, you cannot play baseball unless you are playing with the little league, so until 12 years. But after that, you have to play softball. You can be umpire, you can be scorer, you can be coach. I don't, in this moment, okay, you can be a baseball mom.
A baseball mom, that's a very important job. That's a very important job.
But you can be part of one society of baseball, so you can be involved in a team,
organizing,
in the administration of a team. But in Italy, it's not professional, so you are not so much money involved in baseball. And so I still think that if you want to be part of the game, so inside the field, you have to be an umpire.
Okay, there you go.
So you have the best seat. So, do you know the title of the book? You have the best seat of the game, but you have to stay. You cannot go home before the game is finished.
That's right. And you have to deal with the heckling fans. Yeah, if they don't like if you call against their team. But so that's great, because I think what we wanted to also, one of the questions that had come in is, how do you get involved if you're not from baseball? And, like you said, maybe you're the team mom, or maybe you're the fundraising coordinator, or maybe you're the team treasurer or the association treasurer because you have a background in accounting, like Annamaria, getting into and taking statistics in university, and now she's written, she basically developed the scoring manual for WBSC and will lead our statistics group in Tokyo. So, there are just so many ways that you can be involved, and some of them are paid, and some are, like Lisa will tell you, some, she might get game fees, but then a lot of the work that she does on the leadership side, is volunteer. Now that she's an instructor, she might also get paid for some of that work. So, and I've experienced a little bit of both. But now we're also seeing, obviously, women that are either involved, not just as officials, but in administration and leadership. You look at we have I have, I think one of my pictures that I submitted that was in my video is of all the women that we were at the Women's World Cup in Korea, that it was the technical commissioners as well as our office, WBSC office, female office staff in our pink shirts. And so, women tend to be very good organizers and administrators. So you do see women that are in the office staffs, as well as organizations on the boards. Perhaps we have women, Hiroko Yamada, who is the chair of the Women's Baseball Commission and has sat on the board in Japan as well as at WBSC. So you can be a leader, and Hiroko as well. Shout out to Hiroko in Tokyo. Hiroko doesn't come from a baseball background either. So those are really some great, to keep people inspired. If you love the game, as Sophia said, if you love the game, find a way to get involved, volunteer, get involved with your local baseball association, your regional association, learn some skills, do different things, try different things. And, maybe if they have a scoring clinic locally or an umpire clinic, then jump in and try it out, right? So that's definitely where we want women to go. Lisa, I'm going to throw this question to you. And then we're going to finish with we've only got a few minutes left. I can't believe it's gone by so fast, but Lisa, what organizations do you recommend to women that are wanting to get involved to build their experience and expertise?
Thanks, Shari. Well, the advantage is right now with everything being online is that you can access a lot of different information that maybe you couldn't in the past. When that first World Cup happened in 2004 and even 2006, when I went to Taiwan, there wasn't the same access. Right now, the world is at your global fingertips, right? So even if you can't engage in training in your own country or your own community, you can take advantage of things all over the world. Look where you went around the world when you introduced this panel. So there's a great way to connect with different people and different organizations. I did some online training with Alessia in Italy earlier this spring, and WBSC has been hosting these events and other events. Different federations are hosting events, and often they're encouraging people to join from other locations. As you mentioned earlier, Baseball Alberta was running an online female umpire clinic. We actually had an umpire join from the United States and came and participated in it. So now more than ever, things you can access training and things around the world. Obviously, WBSC has amazing training opportunities in place, as do many of the different federations. Sophia explained about how much baseball there is in Taiwan, and so much baseball going on leads to more opportunities. They may have training there. Now that we're connected with Sophia, maybe we'll know where those trainings are. So I think that the big key piece is you don't have to leave today knowing exactly where every training is, but you've created a network of people and of women to say, hey, what are you looking for? I know this person, how can I connect you? Hey, you're living here. Hey, I know this person, how can I connect you? That'll be the biggest advantage, because then we can give something specific to who they are and where they are and what they're looking for.
That's awesome. Thanks, Lisa. And like I say, we have women working, at all levels of the game, including leading the front office of a Major League Baseball organization. So women are definitely starting to take the lead as official, on the field as coaches, as well as off the field as officials, and in administration and leadership as well. So that is so amazing. I just have there's something that came through here. It's from Eileen Hartman. Hi, Eileen. It's great to see all of you. The passion that you have for the game and your respective roles is inspirational. Thank you, grazie. Thanks, Eileen. So, and also we have Monsuk is joining us from Korea as well. So we didn't shout out to her before, but I want to make sure that we finish off strong. And I know we didn't get to all of the questions. So if we'll leave the question and answer maybe up, and hopefully our panelists can spend time even once we're just quickly done. And maybe if they have an answer, they could type it in for you, but or we can put it into, I don't know, Amy, maybe the comment section or of Facebook Live or YouTube. I'm not quite sure how all this works. For many of us, this is our first time producing such an event and being a part of such an amazing group of women that I've been privileged to know about for many years, but to share you all of you ladies and your expertise with the world today is just incredible for me. So I'd like to finish this session off with a final piece of advice, and I gave them a little bit of a heads up, but you know, they might still have to think about it a little bit. But a final piece of advice from our panelists to all of you women out there in the world that are making your way in the game of baseball. And here's the challenge. So in 5 words or less, what can each of you give the women watching as a final inspiration as they build their career in baseball, whether it's on a volunteer or a professional level? So Sophia, we're going to start with Asia this time, and we're going to go back around the globe the other way. So let's start with Sophia in Taiwan.
I believe strong women, better world.
Strong women, better world. Awesome. Thanks, Sophia. Okay, Alessia.
Okay, so my advice is that I was a teacher before, now I'm principal, but I was a teacher, and as a teacher and also for the umpires, your greatest resources are colleagues. So you have to work with your colleagues. I say hi to all the people that are following. I recognize some of the colleagues I worked with during some international tournament, and I'm very glad they are here to see us. And so the colleague, and every game, try to learn something, even from your mistakes. Doesn't exist mistakes, exist experience. And so every time, so learn from mistake and learn from colleagues.
Awesome.
So this is my advice.
That's awesome. Always learning. That's a great one. Okay, Annamaria, how about you?
Okay, as we are working in our scoring job with pencil, I usually say, sharpen your pencil and let's go.
That's awesome. Keep it sharp. Yeah, keep working on it, women. Just keep going. Yeah, that's phenomenal. I love that one. Okay, Lisa, coming back into Canada.
I truly love Sophia's, and I really feel, Sophia, we need to design a t-shirt that says this: empowering the women of WBSC. I love it. So I wish I could just say Sophia's again, because hers is amazing. But my piece of advice, many people are probably fearful to jump into this, maybe a bit anxious, and not being sure. So my little statement or my quote is, embrace that fear, but do it anyway.
Nice. And I told them if it was 7 words, that was okay. So yeah,
I went a little over. It was 7 words.
Yeah, that's embrace it and do it anyway. Yeah, that's awesome. Wow, just incredible motivation for us all, ladies. Thank you for sharing, and thanks to you for being such an inspiration to women around the world. And to all of you that joined us today, thank you for coming on board and stepping to the plate with us and submitting some really engaging questions. We hope you gained some new insight and some new hope for your career development in baseball. Please check out this week's session of next week's session, of the webinar series, Getting Acquainted: Stories from Women's Baseball Players. Videos will be released on Monday, And the live session will actually happen on Thursday, and then the recording from this session will be released after that. So feel free to view it again, and please share it with any women that you know working in the game. It has been my pleasure. Again, I am Shari Reinige. It's been my pleasure to moderate today's session, and I'm really looking forward to my next WBSC baseball technical official assignments at the America's Olympic Qualifier in Florida and the Olympic Games in Tokyo. So to each of you watching from around the world, here's my message. Stay safe, step to the plate, and take your game to the next level, because we're waiting for you to join us. So cheers, salut, saluti, and kampai. Bye, everyone.